Good Friday morning, everybody. It is your buddy Choppadon coming at you with another episode of NFL Chop Talk, brought to you by the one, the only DFSArmy.com. Your one-stop shop for all things DFS, from MMA to PGA. We've got you covered, all sports. We've got coaches, we've got content, we've got contributions from lots and lots of our staff members that are always writing to bring you the best information as best we can and help you make profitable decisions in the daily fantasy arena. The easiest way to become a VIP and unlock all of that content is to head down to the comments section, click the link, click the coupon code CHOP, C-H-O-P, trigger that 10% off discount for yourself. Also, while you're down there, click the like, click the subscribe button. We'll keep the content rolling out to you guys. As we roll out today for Week 9 NFL, we are going to dig into box checkers. You guys that follow me obviously know I like to walk through the positions, pick out the best of the best, the players that typically or historically hit their value on a given week, and we cut our player pool down to where we're really only dealing with the best of the best. Anything outside of this list is generally going to be more for a tournament lineup than a cash game type of lineup, because we want to take the risk out and keep things as safe as possible. Is it foolproof? No. Has it worked? Hell yes. So we're going to keep on doing it. We're going to dive in to quarterbacks right now. I'll show you my process as I go. Rocket Arm is a proprietary rating system that takes into account a lot of different matchups within all of the quarterbacks and determines who is going to have the stronger matchup on the week. Of course, Cam Newton pops out. You're hearing a little bit around the industry of some Alex Smith. You're hearing some Joe Flacco and GPPs, all fine. Patrick Mahomes' price is a little bit of a concern there. But what I'm really looking at when I come to how I sort these out is I'll take the spread. I only want to deal with the favorites, and I only want to deal with teams implied to score more than, say, 23, 24 points, and I only want to deal with home teams. So being that Mahomes is on the road teams don't typically perform as well as they do at home. That means there's an extra question mark on that salary. Can he hit his ceiling? Can he hit? Yes, of course he can. But is he going to do it often? Is he going to do it enough that I can run that 9,500 out there and forego a Todd Gurley or forego an Adam Thielen or something, because I'm not getting both of them in my lineup without deep sacrifices elsewhere. I tend to lean towards Cam Newton this week. Yeah, Cam Newton is the second highest priced quarterback on the slate, but he also is scheduled to bring the most value for his matchup because he's projected to score 26 points, and at that 8,600 is only $333 per fantasy point spent. So value. And you can do this in a couple of different ways. You can search down through, use Rocket Arm, you can use the pricing, you can even use cost comparison to DraftKings, because we know they're more dynamic in their pricing and they tend to price up their matchups. As you can see, he's more expensive over on DraftKings in relation to your cap. Or I guess the cap differential, he's cheaper on Fanduel, which means he's more expensive over on DraftKings. What I'm looking at more, though, is he in the right situations to perform? Is he home? Yes. Is he favored? Yes. Is he scheduled to score a lot of fantasy points? Yes. Or the offense. That's what I'm looking for. Now, we know that in the fantasy point given up realm, fantasy points allowed, Tampa Bay is worst in the league at 26.3 points to the quarterback. So with Cam Newton having a rushing floor, I probably don't have to sell you too hard. Punching in goal line work, I probably don't have to sell you too hard. And possibly throwing on the league's worst secondary with receivers that shouldn't have too much trouble getting separation. He's in about as good a matchup as you can produce or project for Cam Newton. Now it's just a matter of whether or not the man shows up and performs. Others in consideration, though, Drew Brees would definitely be one. He's at home. He's favored. He's implied to score a ton of points in that shootout with LA. Kirk Cousins. He's got a decent Rocket Arm rating, a decent salary. He's at home. He's also implied to score points. Patrick Mahomes, we already mentioned. Tom Brady's an interesting one. Tom Brady, I don't know where to go on this one, but he checks the boxes today. He'd probably be a little bit more of a GPP pick, but he's implied to score a lot of points. And we know he throws the ball to James White. We need news on Sony Michel. I haven't seen any myself. I haven't gone looking specifically for it. He's not going to probably be in my player pool. But should that be the case where Sony Michel is missing again or is limited in work, James White comes in, James White catches passes. So Tom Brady has a lot of passing weapons. It's whether or not he isn't. Will Gronk return to form? That would be a great GPP stack, Brady and Gronk, hoping that you pin the week that Gronk comes back to life. The one you don't see on this list that I found through the efficiency metric. That's the other metric I did not mention in here with home favored implied to score a lot of points is efficiency. I look at total QBR and I try to stay in the top 10, top third of the league. And you see Mahomes, you see Breeze, you see, oh, hello, we'll talk about that in a second. Jared Goff, Tom Brady, Mitchell Trubisky, Matt Ryan. These are the guys. Kirk Cousins barely misses the list. Cam Newton doesn't miss the list by a lot. So these are indicators that tell me that not only is the guy, in a good spot this week, but he's also efficient with the workload that he receives. I'm really intrigued by Ryan Fitzpatrick again. This is a tournament play, of course. Carolina has a decent offense, or a decent defense. Fitzpatrick, has been up and he's been down this year. He obviously got benched for Winston when Winston came back. Winston coughed up the ball too many times last week, and so Fitzy gets the ball again. Very, very interesting. GPP pick probably going to be very, very popular, but I'm interested to see. I want to look into that defense on Carolina a little bit and see what that really, really amounts to. But I wanted to at least highlight that because I didn't know he was the fourth most efficient quarterback in the league this year. That was kind of a shocker to me. We kick over to the running backs as we try to pick up a little bit of speed here. We also sort by favorites. We don't really worry about team total as much as we're looking for bigger spreads that indicate positive game script. Of course, we want 20 touches. We want red zone work. We want passing down work. We want goal line work. Those are all things you can find by scrolling to the right on the research station. We want good matchups in terms of fantasy points allowed to the running back position out of our teams, but you can see all the red zone numbers and everything that you want to see by scrolling to the right. I'm just touching on the fact that I organized this by chalk stick rating, which is again all kind of a catch-all running back metric that measures out the strength of that matchup. And Kareem Hunt's dinging the bell. Going up against Cleveland with a big road spread, 8.5 points on the road. That's nasty. Game script favors Kareem Hunt. I think there's going to be some throwing in this game too. It's nice to see he's picked up his passing down work. And what we should see is a decent day out of Kareem Hunt before his price starts going even higher into the $9,000 range because he's playing like a $9,000 back right now, and that is bringing you value. Adrian Peterson is interesting. If Chris Thompson can't go, Adrian Peterson isn't favored by a ton. I don't know what he would do in the passing game against Atlanta, but he's had a little bit of a resurgence. You can't argue. Home, favored, implied to score some points, which we don't pay a ton of attention to, but getting all of the workload, secure carries in that backfield right now. Christian McCaffrey paired with Cam Newton, home, favored, implied to score a lot of points, passing down work. The red zone is the scary part because Cam tends to vulture those touchdowns from his running backs. Latavius Murray value priced, $6,700. Dalvin Cook might not go, or if he comes back, he might be limited. I would like to see Latavius Murray get a little bit of insurance from the coaches that they not like Dalvin Cook this week and that they would rather just rest him for the bye and come back in a couple of weeks and give Latavius more run. If so, he would go into my cash lineups in a heartbeat because he's home, he's favored, and he's getting all of the work. Goal line, passing down, all of it. Chris Thompson, if he suits up, if he is healthy. Would love Chris Thompson today. Cheap and going up against Atlanta, and we know what Atlanta does or doesn't do with pass catching backs. That's the whole idea. Trying to find these matchups. Howard Braddock Kamara. Kamara's in a good spot this week. Kamara is for some reason popping all over the charts. Top value on the board in terms of value dollars per points, like we talked about with the quarterback rating. Favored, home, implied to score points. If it turns into a shootout, probably won't be grinding the clock with Ingram as much as we'll be using Kamara in the rushing and receiving role. So just food for thought. Don't really want any bears. James White is in play. This is just how this is going to work out. We need to find these value backs. If we don't find a lot of these value backs this week, then we're going to have to sacrifice where else but wide receiver. I organized these by sticky hands. This one is wide open. Wide receiver is a very volatile position. There's a ton of them. At least 3 per team, right? There's a ton of them, and they're all prices across the board. Whoever catches the touchdowns generally scores the points and smashes value, unless they're super, super pricey. But this week, we're not finding a ton of the real pricey ones up top. They're down here, a little bit lower in that matchup rating. So we could be looking for some value on this board. Again, I'm not looking for home. I'm not looking for favorites. I'm not looking for anything right now. I'm looking for guys that get red zone work and get targets. Opportunity. That's more what I'm focused on. But I'm also focused on price because I know I'm going to need to pay up for running back this week and possibly quarterback. I'm going to need to save my money somewhere. So what's going to pop out at me? Robert Woods, fine. Top rated on the board. Devin Funchess, not bad. Again, Tampa Bay giving up tons of points to wide receivers. So Funchess, not bad for 6,400 and paired with Cam. Cooper Kupp, if he comes back, possibly. Red zone work he gets. Brandon Cooks, interesting. DJ Moore, this is probably my favorite value play of the week. DJ Moore, it draws a horrid matchup. If you come down here to the wide receiver and cornerback matchups, look him up yourself as a VIP. I'm telling you, he draws a horrible matchup against the cornerback that should be covering him, and he is cheap, and he's rated very, very high. This is a outstanding matchup. Samuel, haven't looked too deeply into. Sammy Watkins, can you do it again? Josh Reynolds, if Cooper Kupp sits, is very interesting at 5,600 in a shootout. There might be 1 and 2 at DJ Moore. Take a little bit of a gamble there. Again, it's not going to be the safest thing you've ever tried. If you wanted safer, you'd go down here to Amendola, who gets a little bit more of the targets. But Amendola doesn't have the red zone upside. Doesn't have the touchdown upside that maybe a Josh Reynolds has. So that's really the kind of thing that I'm looking for when I'm trying to compare these two. I'm going to dig down a little bit deeper. Jarvis Landry pops a little bit. One of the ways that we can look is we can also sort these out. Instead of sorting by sticky hands, we can sort by salary. And when I sort that by salary and bring the big dogs to the top, I can start counting value ranking. 1, 2, 3, a little out of place is Michael Thomas. He's third priced, ranked second in value based on our projections. 4, 5, another one, DeAndre Hopkins. 6, 7, 8, 9, Robert Woods. 10, 11, 12, 13, Julian Edelman. Nope. Stephon Diggs, if he's healthy, way out of the price range. Projected very highly for his salary. What was that? 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 out of Golden Tate. 18, 19, 20, 21. 21st price Jarvis Landry, value ranked 6th. Projections, cost per dollar. Big bargain here. If you need to save some money, 6,600 might be the way you go. It's just another way that I can use these tools to go sorting through and narrowing down a player list. So Woods, Funchess, Cooks, Moore, Josh Reynolds maybe, Sammy Watkins, Jarvis Landry, all on my list. And I'll use the next couple of days to go sifting through them and picking them apart a little bit more, matchups a little bit more. But these are the guys that are making my list because historically these are ways of finding the receivers that are going to make value. Tight end matchups. Again, we go by spread and we go by implied team total. I'm going to want favored. So I'm going to go less than 0 to bring only the negative numbers up. Team total, I'm going to go with greater than, say, 23 points so that I can get anything 24 and higher. It's not going to cut out much, honestly. And then I'm going to start looking who's home, who's favored, who's implied to score a lot of points, who gets the targets, who gets the red zone. Again, targets and stuff can be found over this way. Red zone, regular stats. These are the places that you can wind up finding those little details. Travis Kelce, Gronkowski hasn't been used much, and you can see his sticky hands rating has dropped. Travis Kelce, great. George Kittle, great. Greg Olsen, great. Okay? So we're already up here with high implied team totals and big favorites. Typically when a tight end will produce, if he's getting targets. Well, we know Olsen is the favorite red zone target of Cam Newton if he's not running it in himself. We also know that Kittle has a floor. He's been very consistent in San Francisco, which I guess happened last night, so scratch that. Kelce, same situation. Focal point of that offense. Kyle Rudolph, bump in rating here. So I'm going to notice that. Home, implied to score points, favored, check, put him on the list. If we need to save some money, not the worst place to go. Doesn't have the highest floor, but might be okay. The matchup sees something this week. Scrolling down a little bit more. Don't see a lot down in here. If I go value searching again, I need to bring some of these guys back that we had cleared off before. And now that I've got the underdogs and the lower totals back, I can take the value rank here and I can sort by salary. Jam that in descending order, and now start running down this list, looking at projections and looking at value rank. 1, 2, 3. You're going to find it largely goes in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There we go. Austin Hooper is at, nope, that's Jared Cook, number 2. But again, that was last night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So a little bit of value in Kyle Rudolph. 13, Jordan Reed. 14, 15, 16, Njoku. Spikes on the list. So these are, again, ways. Now, tight end is more volatile than wide receiver, so you're really rolling some dice here. But it is a way to at least stack whatever odds you have in your favor week in and week out. And you're looking to pay down a lot of times in this position because you need the money for the running back, the ones that are more predictable, the ones that do have more secure workload. And rounding out with defense, it's easy to see that all we really need to look for defense, because these are absolutely in order, all we really need to look for defense is large spreads and low over-unders, because the low over-under is going to give a low implied total. If you don't know how to calculate that, I talk about it in Slack once in a while. The spread, you're going to cut the spread in half, you're going to cut the overall game total in half. So if we've got a 37 here, it's what, 18, 19, 18 and a half, 18 and 3/4, per team, right? Add 5 for the favorite, subtract 5 for the underdog. Add 5 to 18, you get 23. Subtract 5 from 18, and you get 13. So those are your teams. That's your spread. Your spread checks out. 13.8, 23.8. It's a 10-point spread. There's your spread. Math checks. And I know that a big spread and a low implied total to the team that I'm facing leads to a good day for the defense. So the teams that I'd be looking for in this area would be Chicago up top facing Buffalo, duh. Dallas facing Tennessee, low implied team total, big spread. If I look for any more of these, I'm not finding big spreads in some of these lower total games. And now I'm down here into the underdogs and whatnot. So really and truly, the only two defenses that I'm considering too terribly much, Chicago and Dallas, for safety. Now, if I want to gamble, I would throw some KC in there. But these are about it. And when I look at the salaries on these teams, I'm all across the map. If I'm really desperate and really need the salary, I'm looking at Kansas City. If I've got salary left over because things really worked out, I'll go all the way up to Chicago. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I haven't tinkered too much with lineups. So this is what we're going to be doing over the next couple of days, and this is what we're going to be discussing with our VIPs in our coaching rooms over the next couple of days. And that's why you need to be inside, because you only get a taste of what it is that we do and how we make our players better by watching the content that we put out on a public or a free basis. I appreciate you watching the videos. I love the fact that you like and subscribe to the channels. I love it even more when you guys give me the occasional retweet out on Twitter. That's unbelievable. Thank you so much for that. You're helping spread the word. You're helping build up the forum that I have to talk to, but ultimately I can talk to you even more inside dfsarmy.com as a VIP. So follow the comments down there. Follow the link in the comments. Use that coupon code CHOP. The more our prices tend to creep upwards, the more that 10% saves you in terms of raw dollars. And if we're searching for value in DFS, we might as well be searching for value in our own checkbook too, correct? Thanks again for watching, guys. It's been Box Checkers for Week 9. Hope to see you guys inside DFSArmy.com real soon. I am your buddy Choppadong. You may see me today or this weekend with an NHL or an NBA video. I know I'll be doing an NBA video for our VIPs. So come inside and check that out. Hopefully I see you guys inside, and we will talk to you next week for NFL. Take care.